go. On the DEI crap.
Yeah. Fratt is right.
Yeah, I'm Polish Irish right here. I'm from Boston, so I'll claim the Irish. I'm married Polish, so I claim that too. But in all honesty, the Bible's already talked about how we're supposed to treat each other. We don't need DEI.
No.
That's just a fallacy. Okay, next thing, we got Jay Fratt. Congress for the 10th.
Wake up. Thank you very much. Guys, I am not a politician. I am one of you. I'm a PCO, Olympia 235. I've come up here to announce to the 229 Club that I'm running for Congress in the 10th Congressional District. Naturally, the way that God sees it, I would follow Keith Swank in speaking as I'm following after him in running for Congress in the 10th. This is the first time I've ever spoken in public as a candidate. I am not a politician, but I can read a room, so I'm going to be extremely brief because we've all been sitting and waiting to go to the bathroom for a long time. I am a little different than Keith. I am a citizen volunteer. I've spent my entire life west of the Cascades along the I-5 corridor. I grew up in Southwest Washington. I was born in Olympia. I graduated from the University of Puget Sound as an accountant in Tacoma. Okay, I'm a little bit different. I'm anti-war first. I actually have solutions instead of just fear-mongering people into the problems that come up every single election cycle. They get us hopped up on fear, but then they do nothing about it. I've actually got solutions. You can go to my website. We're releasing 3 right away, and I will be adding to it. It's a long way to go. We've got several months. So again, I will be brief. jfratt.com is where I've actually got information. And again, we're not selling fear porn here. We are in trouble. The reason I'm a citizen volunteer is because ever since I was a young man, we could see the train car was on fire. And for years now, decades, we've been hopping from one train car to the next, disconnecting the last burnt carcass. Well, the fires reach the engine. Okay? Citizen volunteers are rising up all across the country to get in there with responsibility and a can-do effort. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm highly capable, I'm a problem solver, and I'm standing up. So you guys can send me in. And we're going to defeat Marilyn Strickland. We're going to take back Congress. And when Trump is president, we're going to start enacting policies that restore the things that we believe in as a country. Thank you very much again for inviting me. And of course, I'm on this too. Apparently, I'm a politician now. Yes, wrong.
So, when you say anti-war,
Yes.
what exactly do you mean?
Anti-war, I'm against all war. I believe that in the future we will fight our battles in a competitive structure that's not kinetic. And we need to get there, we need to stop meddling in other countries' affairs and respect sovereignty. We have to respect the sovereignty of nations. We have to respect our own sovereignty. Our sovereignty is under attack. Our sovereignty as individuals, our sovereignty as a nation, okay? To reclaim that, we must respect the sovereignty of other countries. When I say I'm anti-war, okay, I fought against the Bush administration and PNAC, Project for a New American Century, when they started us off on this fiasco in the Middle East and Afghanistan. We have to be responsible for what we've done. That was done in our name, but darn it, it is our name. We have to take responsibility, and we have to stop those actions. Consolidate. We're spread thin. We need to consolidate and strengthen. That's what I mean by anti-war.
Yeah, we got another question, Val?
Yes.
Didn't the Biden administration last year or the year before sign our sovereignty to who?
So, yes, it's a very good point. I mean, even in our country, the CDC isn't even a governmental structure, it's a private structure, and yet it leads us. Then they signed over our sovereignty to the WHO, that they would take their guidelines, take their instruction to our guidelines. That's, I mean, you know it, we've seen it. They say, oh, that didn't really happen, but things like this keep creeping towards the loss of our sovereignty. Again, people have to use the restroom, Bill. Are you sure you want to ask? Come on, they're all looking at you.
Nobody hates war more than a soldier.
That's right. How are you going to be anti-war with all this military around? Well, they're smart. They're in it. They understand we're spread thin. We need to consolidate to become strong again. Yes, sir.
As an accountant, what would your solution be for our debt?
Well, we have $34 trillion in debt. This answer is a little long, okay? On my website, jfratt.com, I talk about the fusion future, okay? It's one of the solutions. Nobody is talking about this. One thing about me, and I realize we're probably nearing 10 minutes, so I will respect that and be quiet, but I went across the country. I was the campaign director for a presidential campaign this election cycle. A man by the name of Eric John Berner, Air Force veteran, genius. We toured Iowa, South Carolina, New Hampshire. We ran out of money. That's the way politics goes, right? Didn't make the debate stage. He suspended the campaign. We endorsed Trump. But to that point, we have introduced a plan that takes fusion energy that was proven as a physical fact in December of 2022 by the Lawrence Livermore Labs. We can use that to be the first industrial fusion reactor in the world, and I want to put it in Hanford, right here in Washington State. Woo! Read about that at jfratt.com. All the Republicans talking about nuclear, that's old tech. We need to get behind something. I like to say that it's like the moon landing and the Manhattan Project all kind of wrapped into one. Aren't we Americans? Don't we always talk about, all these politicians talk about creativity and innovation, right? Well, let's do it again. Why not Washington State? Yes, go ahead.
There's a huge push right now across the country to accomplish Agenda 2030 and Agenda 2050. How well versed are you on both of them?
Well, it's interesting because something that's in the Pierce County platform, not the convention platform, but the county platform, talks about the Convention of States. And I disagreed. I just filled out a form for Mr. McMullen, the chair of the Pierce County Republican Party, and I disagreed with that one point there, because with the Convention of States, that's how this oligarchical fascism that we see trying to attack our sovereignty can seep in, right? So all that COP 30, all that stuff, Bloomberg is organizing cities and paying off mayors, sending them all around the world. I mean, we have to fight that in our local communities. Of course, if I, when I go to Congress, I would be against those things. It's just silly. I'm an American. I'm for sovereignty. I mean, we should be the example that others can use, but we don't need to control the world. And we certainly will not be controlled by the world.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you, Brenda.